This is TWiT.
So we've covered these two. Let's go back to what is, I'm sure, in the US going to be a great success, as it is here in Europe. It's in the same price range as the Xiaomi 11T Pro. It is the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. So FE in Samsung's product portfolio stands for Fan Edition. Now, in late 2020, the Samsung released the S20 FE, which was a great smartphone. Essentially, it took the same formula that we were discussing earlier that Xiaomi uses. It 6 months after its main flagship, cuts a few corners, makes a very compelling package for a very affordable price for what you're getting.
And that was again, at the top of a lot of people's lists for last year as far as the hardware was concerned, which is surprising for a device that was like literally designed to be a step down from the flagship, you know?
It is, because you get so much value from it, and they're cutting corners in all the right places. I quite like what Samsung call glastic. It's the plastic backs on these phones, because I'm less afraid to drop it. It's lighter, and it looks quite cool. This is the olive green version that I have. I really, really like the overall design. So you get something very similar to what you get on the S20 standard smartphone, but for a fraction of the price at launch. But it's important to remember that the S20 has been on the market for 6 months. You may already be able to get a deal on that flagship at a lower price than the S21 FE. The screen on the Samsung S21 FE is fantastic. It is a really punchy, nice AMOLED screen. On paper, it's pretty similar to the one we saw on the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G. It's an AMOLED screen. It's 20:9 aspect ratio. It's full HD+. But the Samsung one is, in my experience, a much better rounded screen. It has punchier colors. It just feels like a nicer phone to use. It is also smaller, so it's a 6.4-inch screen at 20:9 aspect ratio, which makes it overall a nicer phone to hold, in my opinion. But that's a very subjective thing. If you want a bigger screen, a bigger phone, the Xiaomi might be the one to go for. But this S21 FE overall has a bit of a tighter, more put-together operating system with what is now One UI 4. But those of us who have been through the TouchWiz wars of early 2014 know that this is in reality One Wiz 4, or One Wiz 4, as I like to call it. It is Samsung's Android distribution. It has a lot of preloaded apps and services from Samsung. Samsung are obviously trying to get into the services market, and this is a very good device, which I think is a bit let down by Samsung's overbearing software, which really tries to sell you Samsung services. The screen is great, the battery life is very good, but in certain situations I found it to drain a little bit faster than its competition at this point in time. I just got the latest update to One UI 4. I'll see how that performs in the coming weeks, but we'll have a full review on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel and a lot of extra videos focusing on the cameras, because Samsung have put a 12 megapixel camera in this device, which is very similar on paper to the one in the S20 FE. And I really want to compare the S20 FE to the S21 FE camera, because on paper they may look the same. I think there may be some differences in how the software handles images. I like the S20 FE so much, I gave it to my partner, Candice. She's using that phone at the moment, so I have easy access to it for doing some comparisons. Sadly, there's one thing that the S21 FE loses. That's expandable storage. That's usually a selling point for Samsung devices. With this one, we lose it.
Yeah. Yep. Goodbye. I mean, so many devices, that's one of those chopping block features that I feel like just gets cycled out year after year. We see less and less devices allowing for that. I was just doing some price comparisons. So the S21 on Samsung's site is $800. That gets you 128 gigs of storage. The S21 Fan Edition is $770, so $30 less. But you also get more storage on that, 256 gigs. If you had to pick between those two, the true, just the flatline S21 versus the S21 Fan Edition, which one would you pick?
I would definitely pick the S21 FE. It's a slightly newer device. I think it's ergonomically, it feels better to hold. Maybe it's the glass stick back. Maybe it's just the way it's shaped. I find it better to use than the S21. But that's a very personal opinion.
For sure.
I would say if you're shopping around for a phone and looking to decide, get a chance and go into a Samsung store, go into your carrier store, try and hold the device in your hand and get a feel for it, because it's amazing how little things can make a big difference. And always, as I recommend, make sure you have a case on them. Despite it being made out of plastic or plastic, I recommend you have a case on it. And the case itself will change the ergonomics and the way you hold and use your phone. It's a very subtle thing, but I think it's important. And I'm an advocate for accessorizing your smartphones and, more importantly, supporting big Mocadile.
Yes, big Mocadile. This is the year. Big tech is out, yes. Big Mocadile is in.